I mean, my part will be fine. When you see how ghetto this fucking studio setup is, you're going to fucking laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good on the video, which is all that matters, but it literally is fucking green screen nailed to a wall and fucking a rack that's extended the wrong way. You know, it's extended out a different way because it won't fit the way I want it. So I extended it out and then I cut a hole in the top and put a screw through it. So, I mean, it is definitely jerry-rigged like a motherfucker, man. It is fucking bullshit, but it looks good on the video, which is all I care about.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the spot, you know, the spot where you'll basically sit at, and the only thing that's in the background is all my, you know, my secondary desk that I have and all that computer gear.
Right.
Unless I put something else up, and I have another tarp that I might just put up. You know, I have like a black tarp that I could put up and somehow hang. But it's going to be ghetto as a motherfucker.
Too funny.
I'll figure it out.
I'm sure you will. But
I won't let us look. You know, if it looks terrible, we just won't do video.
Right.
But I don't want it to be. I don't want my half to look cool and your half to look like you fucking got thrown into a closet.
I'm doing it from the scene of Sanford and Son.
Exactly. And you know how this office is with all this fucking computer equipment that I have all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely looks like a modern Sanford and Son. That's a good fucking analogy.
Yeah. We'll be waiting for Lamont to walk in any minute.
Pop! Grady's here, Pop!
And Esther.
What was her thing? Watch it, sucker.
Yeah.
I loved me some fucking Sanford and Son, dude. You old fish-eyed fool.
Too funny.
Every character on that show was fantastic. Bubba, Grady. What was the Lamont's friend that was a scumbag?
Oh,
Rollo, yeah.
Yeah.
Every character was awesome.
Yeah. Even the goofy ass cops.
Yeah, the cops were goofy.
Right,
but they
right
were
up.
funny.
You mean right on?
Yeah. Right up.
Right up.
That show was way ahead of its time. and can't find it anywhere. It's nowhere.
Oh yeah. Well, it's politically incorrect. You can't have that show now.
It's black guys goofing on white guys. That should be allowed.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to have black guys goofing on white guys?
No, you're not allowed to have stereotypical black guys.
Mm. But they were always smarter than the white guys.
I know, but it's the whole ghetto thing.
Oh, okay.
Can't do that.
I mean, it was a black business owner. No?
Well, it's just funny that they were able to get away with that, you know, back then. And especially All in the Family with Archie and the things he would say.
Right.
You know, of course, you couldn't get away with that today either.
Oh, no, definitely not. And Good Times, that would never fly.
No.
Good Times was fucked up. Dude, any family that lived like Good Times, they would all kill themselves. It was like every week there was a problem. JJ gonna get married and he's run away to elope, but she locked herself in the closet and started doing drugs.
It was all, yeah. Well, the whole thing, the drug, obviously the poor ghetto life and the drug culture was obviously a main focal point.
Yeah.
Pregnancy, drug culture, crime,
pimps. Remember, there was always that pimp that would come up on Good Times he was trying to recruit JJ to be part of his gang or whatever. Mm-hmm. They had the pimp. I love that shit.
I'm sure you did because you're a racist.
Good Times. I don't care what anybody says. Good Times is one of the best shows. Everybody always talks about the Jeffersons and All in the Family, and I love those shows. But I will take Sanford and Son and now I just went to and Good Times over either of those shows. Good Times, especially other than at the end of Good Times, when they became a business making Christmas cards or whatever the fuck it was at the end of that show, and JJ was now a businessman. He went from a guy that wore a stupid chicken hat to you know, now he's a business guy going into banks asking for loans and shit.
Yeah.
And then having a discussion about the guy that was fucking the mom. Remember that one where the guy that was fucking the mom takes him to the gym and JJ can't lift the weights that the other guy has lifted. And meanwhile, the guy admits to him that he has cancer and he's going to die. It's so fucked up.
Did I ever tell you the time I met Jimmy JJ Walker?
Yeah. Well, go ahead. I'm sure people haven't heard it.
Well, I used to live south of Las Vegas, about three hours south of Las Vegas. So it wasn't anything to zip up to Vegas in no time.
Right.
And back in the 80s anyway, the rooms were so cheap. You could go to the Imperial Palace, which is now I believe it's the Link now.
Okay.
But you could go to the Imperial Palace and get rooms for $10 a night. $10 a night.
Right.
You know, because they wanted you to spend it in the casino.
Right. Sure.
And then when the Stratosphere opened, it was called what the hell was the name of that place? Bob Stupka's.
Okay.
He was, I believe he was the mayor of Las Vegas at one time. His name was Bob Stupka. I think that's how you say his name. Okay. And, you know, he built the Stratosphere. And, right. You know, these mega hotels, the first big mega hotel that opened over there was the Excalibur, that big one with the castle and everything.
Right, sure.
I think they boasted like they had 4,400 rooms, which was just unreal. And that was the first of the mega structures that was built in Vegas, and then from there on, all the legacy hotels like the Sands and the Dunes and all that, they were one by one,
right,
would come down and they would build some mega structure in its place. Well, anyway, at the Dunes Hotel, they had the Comedy Store there.
Okay,
and one of my sisters had come out to visit with me, so we went to Vegas and we went to the Comedy Store, and Jimmy J.J. Walker was the MC. Right. And we had seats right at the back. Well, Jimmy would go up on stage, and he'd introduce the next comic. Well, when he got off stage and the comic was on stage, he literally would come out and stand directly behind me.
Right.
And so I just got out of the seat, and I got up to shake his hand and, you know, tell him what a fan of Good Times I was and this and that. Right. And he goes, dude, why are you talking to me? Watch the comic, man. He's really funny. Just sit. Because I said, well, I was just a fan. I just wanted to say hello. Yeah, that's cool, man. Just sit down. Just watch the show, man. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. Was he funny?
Who, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he would just do his little minute or two between the acts and things before they brought the next guy up.
Yeah, because he still does stand-up.
Yeah.
Which has got to be horrible at this age. He's 70 years old going, dynamite!
But yeah, it was just funny. It was just like, dude, I don't want to talk to you. You know, just sit down, just enjoy the show, just watch the guy. This guy's funny. You know, don't pay attention to me.
Good on him for doing his job. You know, of getting people to watch. But dude, and it's funny. I'm watching the chat room a little bit, and a bunch of different show names are popping up, and I just think, just watching it, were the 70s the best time for these fucking terrible shows? They were so terrible, they were good.
Well, TV had swung in a whole different direction because if you remember the 60s shows, I mean, think about the 60s TV. You had Bewitched.
Yeah.
You had, you know, the Munsters. You had the Addams Family. You had Batman and Robin. You had Green Acres and the Beverly Hillbillies and,
right,
you know, all that stuff, all that kind of down-home campy stuff.
Right.
Well, when the 70s hit, and, you know, especially with the culture that was going on, the Nixon administration with the Vietnam War was going on, and the drug war started heating up, and, you know, there was racial unrest, and you know, of course, Norman Lear, very influential in most of these shows.
Sure.
It took a whole different turn. It took a drastic turn. I mean, then you had like Mary Tyler Moore show and Bob Newhart show for the white people. And then you had the black shows.
The black shows were way better than the white shows.
Well, because it was something we never saw before.
Yeah. I mean, I can't watch an episode of like Newhart, you know, him doing fucking counseling for fucking idiots as a shrink. Ugh, that was bad. And then when he was the hotel guy, that was even worse. That was fucking, this is my brother Daryl, this is my other brother. Ugh, just fucking you and your Daryls go kill yourselves.
Yeah.
I fucking hated them and that Tom guy that was the maintenance dick. You know, I fucking hated him. You know, I hated that show. That show was terrible. Although that girl, Stephanie, whatever her name was, I forget what her real name is. It's Julia something. But she played Stephanie on that show.
Yeah.
I rubbed several out to her. But
well, the 70s shows, of course, they were just a reflection of the times.
Yeah.
And,
you know, you say the white shows were bad, but some of them, like I saw somebody reference it in here, and I think this show was great, and you might hate it, and I know whoever said it hated this show, but I loved Alice. Did you like Alice?
I watched Alice, but you know that was kind of a trashy show too.
I loved
it was just a truck stop diner, and you know she was a single mom, and you had what was the Flo, kiss my grits. Yeah, and you know, of course, Mel himself, and you know,
Mel was a dirtbag. If you really think about that show, the whole gist of that show was, you might as well have called it Failure Town, because really what it was a bunch of people that failed in life.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was kind of like a trash show. It was like just ghetto. It was ghetto whites.
It was so, she's going to be this big singer, but yet she sucked so bad that she had to work at Mel's Diner.
Yeah.
Fucking getting her ass pinched and serving pancakes at a fucking truck stop.
But of course the other topical show, or the product of the time, as far as a white show with problems, drugs, pregnancy, premarital sex, all that, was One Day at a Time.
Oh yeah.
You know, that show had a lot of issues.
Yeah. They were a fucking disaster family too.
Of course. But again, it's the single mom and the two teenage daughters, and they want to get out there and experience life. And, you know, I tell you what, growing up in a very conservative household as I did, we weren't allowed to watch any of those shows.
Really?
I mean, we would watch them if we could, if we get away with it. But boy, that didn't fly in my house. No way.
What were you watching? Like 8 is Enough?
Oh, well, that definitely Little House on the Prairie. You know that, but you know, my mom and dad had control of the TV. You didn't get to pick those shows. You didn't get to watch All in the Family.
Oh man,
you know, stuff like that. That just didn't go very well. You know, that kind of stuff.
See, my parents must have just been degenerates, because they would call us in for fucking family time to watch All in the Family and the Jeffersons.
Oh no, that just didn't fly.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I grew up on that shit. Rhoda. What was Maude?
Mary Tyler Moore Show.
More right.
You know, stuff like that. But yeah, the more edgier stuff, the more adult theme type shows. Yeah, that just was not something we were allowed to watch.
How about like Love American Style?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No.
No.
And certainly not Fantasy Island.
No, we did watch that.
Really? Because they had a lot of fucking on that show too.
Yeah, I guess. But that wasn't Social Problems.
Oh, that was Celebrating Life?
I don't know. I don't even, you know, I don't know the reason why. You know, to be honest with you, when I sit back and think, as a kid, TV was not a big factor for me personally, because I was always out doing something. I was always outside. That was back in the days when, you know, being outside was, you didn't sit on your ass and watch TV.
Right.
You know, you got to watch 1 or 2 shows in an evening, and then it was time to hit the rack.
Oh yeah. We were not allowed to watch TV until 8 o'clock. I mean, we didn't, you know, that all kind of changed when MTV came, but you know, before MTV, I didn't really watch TV until 8 o'clock, but then like from 8 till like 9:30 or whatever my bedtime was as a kid, was definitely sit and watch what the family wanted, and ultimately my dad was an old school dad, so it was basically watching my dad wanted.
Yeah, but my guilty pleasure, when I could get away with it because it came on late on, I think it came on late on Friday nights, was Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I think that came on at 10.
Yeah.
Like on Friday nights, and by 10 my parents were already racked out, so
I hate to say it, but you would watch Wonder Woman, and anytime she was flying in the plane and you could get that side tit shot, you could see how big her tits were. Fucking whatever her name is, Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
She had some big old boobies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy, and boy, they look good. As she'd be flying in the invisible plane that just had like the outline of the plane.
Yeah.
But it was a side shot, so you'd see her big fucking tits. It was like, yes, look at those.
Mm-hmm. I definitely know that my my preference for brunettes definitely came between Linda Carter and Barbie Benton.
Oh yeah,
Barbie Benton was in a show. It was called, what was the name of the show? It was her and two other chicks. They were trying to be singers or something.
Barbie Benton. Let me look.
It only lasted like a season. I think it was like 1 or 2 seasons at the most.
Well, let's see what she did in her career. I'm looking. Where's her Oh, she's singing. Television appearances. Let's see. A Love Boat. You certainly weren't watching that. Let's see. Sonny and Cher. Hee Haw. You were allowed to watch Hee Haw.
Oh, yeah. That was my dad's show.
Of course. McCloud?
No. It was a TV show that they were in.
Well, let's see. Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, Hollywood Squares, Vegas?
No, it wasn't an appearance. It wasn't a TV appearance. She was actually in a show. Let's see it. Oh, she was in Fantasy Island a bunch, but I'm looking, playing. I don't see any like shows that she was like. All I see is appearances here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at her list, and I don't see any other than the ones that I named as that she was like a part of. Yeah, she was man, I'm thinking that they were trying to be singers or actresses or something. It was just like I said, it was like maybe one season. Let's see. Barbie Benton singer show. Let's see what comes up. Sugar Time? That's it. Sugar Time. I don't even remember Sugar Time. I do. Yeah, the female rock trio Sugar. Yeah. Okay, I don't remember Sugar Time. Terrible show, but Barbie Benton was in it. All right, somebody in the chat room asked. I already gave my answer. I'll give it on the air, but WKRP. Oh, absolutely. Lonnie Anderson. Bailey or Lonnie Anderson? Oh, Lonnie. Absolutely. Oh, no way. See, surprise, surprise. I thought Bailey was 50 times hotter than you think so? Yeah, she was kind of had that studious look about her. She just looked like she'd be a whore. Lonnie was like, yeah, everybody was after Lonnie. And who was she fucking? Burt Reynolds? Yeah, well, she married him. Yeah. But I mean, at that time, she was with Burt too, right? I think so. That's how she got that job, that and those big old tits. Mm-hmm. And those tits were huge, that's for damn sure. Yep. She was pretty, but I don't know. She was okay. That show, that's another classic show. Talk about another show, just decrepit town. You're on this shitty radio station in fucking Cincinnati, with bad, and all the guys are just bad DJs. You got dumbass Les Nessman, he's a fucking fool. Herb Tarlick, he's a fucking fool. What was the station manager's name? Mr. Tarlick? No, that's Herb. What was the guy's name? Carlson. Was it Mr. Carlson? Mr. Carlson. Mr. Carlson. He was a turd. It's like everybody on that show was a fucking Johnny Fever was like always, running from the law. and the night guy was like a criminal too, wasn't he? A reformed criminal or something, the black guy? Venus Flytrap. Yeah, something like that. Venus Flytrap.
those shows were terrible, but they're, that's what I mean. If you watch them now, they're so bad, but yet they're fun. Even like Barney Miller. Were you allowed to watch Barney Miller?
I used to watch Barney Miller all the time.
Loved Barney Miller, but if you watch it now, you're like, this is the worst fucking show. How did Law and Order ever fucking spring out of this? Because Barney Miller, and Barney Miller was like the first ever attempt to try and be equal. Like you had female detectives that would come in and out, but you had an Asian guy, and you had an old guy, and you had a black guy, and you had a couple of white guys. They were like trying to be diverse.
Of course, because that is our strength.
Well, they were trying to flex their strength with Barney Miller. And, it was so dumb.
Wojciechowicz and Fish and Ron Glass. I don't remember what his name is, but he was always writing a book.
Yeah, he was trying to write a book instead of search. And another case of fucking pathetic people. You had Wojciechowicz, who was just a terrible cop. You had Barney Miller, that was basically his career was over and he was stuck running this precinct. You had Fish, who was just
waiting
counting
to die.
His days tire. Yeah. And you had Ron Glass writing his dumb book. And you had the Asian guy that, let's face it, we never knew what he was up to.
Jack Sue.
I could talk about these shows all day. The fucking Jeffersons. Jeffersons were great.
On Fridays, though, if I watch TV, I definitely was like, probably one of the shows that I watched often was like Rockford Files.
Mm-hmm.
That was one that I always enjoyed.
You were allowed to watch that, huh?
Yeah, and then Saturday, BJ and the Bear.
Oh, dude. How did you end up becoming the fucking host of this goddamn show? You were raised Mormon.
Through many years of therapy.
My God. Dude, did you watch Family?
My sisters did. I never watched it. Yeah, I knew of it, but I never watched it. That just wasn't my thing.
I had such a thing for Kristy McNichol. Oh my God, I definitely watched Family just for that. I was a little kid too. I was like 10 years old and I was fucking watching for Kristy McNichol. And then I would watch movies with Kristy McNichol in them too. Dude, for 20 fucking years I hated what was that guy's name? Matthew something, an actor from the 70s. He still acts, but I forget what his name is now. There was a movie called Little Darlings.
Yeah. That was a risque movie for a teen actress to be involved with.
Yep. But I ended up hating that guy because he fucked Kristy McNichol in the movie. In the movie, he fucked Kristy McNichol, and because he fucked Kristy McNichol, I was like, fuck this guy. I don't want to watch anything he's in ever again.
Yeah, he ruined it for me.
He did. He took my girl's virginity.
Oh, my God.
Bastard. Left her swinging and crying on the swings. Fucking prick. I still hate him. Yeah, talk about a waste. Kristy McNichol was kind of hot. She really was. And then when she went lesbo, then it just went right to shit.
Yeah.
Do you think that her look changed, or just the fact that we knew that she was eating fucking pussy made us not think she was as hot?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of find it interesting that these young women actors of the 70s, like Jodie Foster and Kristy McNichol, they became lesbo.
Well, it's because they were taking adult man dick when they were 10.
Yeah.
They were sickened by cock.
I guess.
And then they just fucking said, well, I'm not gonna take any more of that.
Yeah.
I'll find some warm, sensual vag.
Exactly.
But yeah, when Kristy McNichol was on Empty Nest, she looked kind of hot. When she was like the cop,
mm-hmm.
The cop that just happened to live with that dork from Soap, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was, but she was kind of hot.
Yeah.
She come running around with the fucking badge and the gun and shit. I was like, oh.
Look at that.
I liked her.
Well, since you mentioned Soap, that was definitely another no-no.
Oh, you couldn't watch Soap?
Oh, no, I couldn't watch Soap.
What about Benson?
I don't think anybody had any interest in watching it one way or the other.
Dad didn't like black guys, huh?
Well, I don't think anybody had any interest in even watching it.
Yeah, I liked Benson. Benson was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, I could talk about these shows forever.
I know. Well, you're stuck at home all day, so you just kind of scan through and go, oh, I haven't seen that in a while.
Dude, I don't watch regular TV almost never.
Mm-hmm.
But on occasion, if the internet goes down or something, thank you, Matt S3. Richard Mulligan was that guy's name. But from Empty Nest.
Right.
But when you watch on your antenna, like if my internet goes down or something, or if I'm watching football games, a lot of times when I watch football, I just flip over to the regular antenna TV. Well, now the antenna, every channel has like multiple sub-channels.
Okay.
You go to there's no more channel 3. It's always like channel 3.1 or 3.3 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's the HD channels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a bunch of 8 of those channels that are just old TV.
Okay.
There's like Antenna TV, and I think the other one's called Wii TV, maybe.
Right.
And they just show all these old shows. And there are definitely days when I'm not in the mood for anything that's streaming, and I'll just pop it on, and I'll be like, oh, look at this fucking Love American Style for 12 hours. And I will sit there and watch 12 hours of Love American Style just because, it's more or less just on in the back.
Right.
In the background. But, dude, I love that shit. So good.
Yeah, it was definitely a different time.
Yeah. Now, the weird thing is, what's good now?
I don't know. I don't watch. I don't watch network TV. I don't watch TV shows or series.
I mean, there is so few. It's weird. I mean, we just rattled off how many TV shows from the 70s? 10, 15?
At least.
In the 2000s, that's 19 years at this point, I don't think there's 10, significant, sitcoms. I really don't think there is. I mean, what would be Friends started in the 90s, I think. So
yeah, that was in the earlier part of the 90s.
Was Seinfeld 90s or 2000s?
90s. Seinfeld actually started, I think, in 89.
So, what about Curb?
Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Is that a 2000s?
That's a 2000s.
All right, so Curb would be one. I would say whether you like it or not, and I like it because Ariel Winter's big, giant, enormous tits are in it. But Modern Family's pretty good.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that.
That's a legitimate comedy, Modern Family, sitcom. I can't imagine what else there is. I mean, honestly, even if you go to Netflix, Amazon Prime, or any of that shit, there's not really any sitcoms that are iconic like the ones that we're naming.
Well, again, this goes back to the whole argument about what made certain bands iconic. And the reason being is that we were limited as to we were fed certain things on a limited platform. We only had 3 network television stations, and you were limited to what those 3 stations gave you. Same way with your commercial radio. The reason Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd or Deep Purple or any of these bands are iconic today is because we had one rock station in town and we had to hear what they gave us.
Right.
And that's it. But now with the internet, Netflix and Amazon and, YouTube and all these platforms, there's just so much of it out there that nothing gets to rise to the top to be the iconic show.
Yeah, no. I mean, but the dramas do. The dramas definitely do. Like Law and Order is an iconic show, whether you like it or not. But
it started out on commercial TV, didn't it?
Sure, it did. But House of Cards is an iconic show. House of Cards was definitely probably the first giant Netflix show.
Okay.
And then Orange is the New Black is maybe not iconic, but
popular.
Definitely a big popular show. Breaking Bad is a popular show. Lost was borderline iconic show. Of the dramas, there's still a lot of good drama writing. What I'm saying is sitcoms themselves the 20-minute things, you know, there's nothing. That it's like that style died.
Yeah.
You know that style definitely died. And it's, I mean, there's shows that are out there, but dude, when we see them, I'm looking in the chat room. Somebody said Blackish, and I'm like, I'll never watch that. But Last Man Standing, that's good. That's Tim Allen's new show.
Okay,
that's pretty good. And the girls
wasn't that a reboot though?
It's not. It's kind of like he took Home Alone and switched out the boys for girls.
Okay.
It's basically Home Alone, but for girls. And instead of being a TV repair guy, he runs like a gaming store selling fucking fishing gear and tents and shit.
Okay.
So I mean, it's the same show. I watch it. I am a fan of Last Man Standing. I do watch it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That one is pretty good. I don't know if it's iconic because it's buried on some bullshit channel, and that goes back to your point. You know, it's buried on FX somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just not. Yeah, Jimmy James is right, and I hate to admit it because I hate the show. But Big Bang Theory, I guess that would be probably iconic. It lasted 12 seasons. So, I don't know. Ugh. It's just sad that there's just so little of it now. You know? Sad, and maybe it's not sad, because what does it do? It forces us to go back and watch these shows from the 70s, which is a lot better.
Exactly. Exactly.
Too good.
All right. Well, you want to take a little break?
Wow, aren't we done with the show yet?
Well, we burned through an hour and a half of it already.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, we are definitely rambling. Yeah, let's play 2 or 3 tunes, and then we'll figure something out.
Well, I figured since we're talking about watching TV, which for some people is just a waste of time, I thought I'd play some Jimmy Page, wasting my time.
Sounds good to me.
All right, well, we're going to play a few songs. We'll be back. Everybody go grab a drink. I'm going to go grab my first drink, and we'll come back and we'll do some more stuff. Chris actually did some show prep today.
I did. Can you believe it?
So we'll come back and we'll talk about some stuff.
All right.
As we always do. We're not at a loss for words here.
Never are.
All right. All right. Well, here it is. This is Jimmy Page from the Outrider release. This is Wasting My Time exclusively here
on your classic metal show.